for us to use it portably here out on the tours. You guys should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. Yeah, it is pretty badass. My beard should be blue, and if I lower my head, I'm nearly headless Nick. For those of you Harry Potter fans, you got that reference. Good job. Now, we are looking for those cold spots, so they're going to be blue and black. We're always going to have blue and black in there because it's a little chillier at night, and our windshields and glass and windows are going to pick up on those things. I'm looking for the blue and black to move or to take shape. That's what I'm looking for. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully that's what we'll capture with it again. Now, I also love to give you stats about the equipment you're about to use. I'm not a TV show host. I am not a YouTuber. So this thing will capture about 4 to 5 pieces per year that it would put my stamp of approval on, not per episode. You guys seeing my point? Good. You're seeing that I'm not a liar and I want to find this stuff as much as you guys do. So I also have a blue dot set up on this guy. It's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It's going to land, and I want it to move as well. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. I want to say that I wrote down it was like, I don't even remember what the temperature was. I do write everything down. But as far as the 15 degrees, let's see what today's temperature is for us. Ambient, what I wrote down, it says 56. I don't believe that. I want to say it's like 60, so I'm just going to say 45 and colder. And I want to make sure it's moving across the screen, and therefore it's not a can on the ground or a sign that caught some wind. Fair enough? Yep. All right, good deal. So with this one...
Are on the holiday.
Not yet. So I'm going to cover the history, and then we're going to spread out. This is the layout of the way this one's going to work. So I'll give you the history just enough. This is where I start with holding information on purpose. I don't want you guys looking for specific things the whole night, but you need to know enough about who you're trying to talk to. That's the reason why I tell you some of the history.
Suck it.
I'm not going to be giving you questions here, by the way, like what color was George Washington's white horse. You will be getting the answers from your communicators, and it's not going to be suck it and then Christmas music. With that said, once I give you the history, we'll spread out. I'll do a few round robins with everybody and then regroup us to give you all of the answers to show you how it all ties together if we have anything going on. So this space used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. The mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street, and Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the heck were these people? Charles and Eliza, they had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. In the event that somebody hears the name Charles, I need to know which one it is by an identifier, like what we discussed with Randy. They are 3 different men. I need to know how to address that specific Charles. Moving on. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us. I hate politics, especially this close to an election that we just had. So if I don't give the gentleman their recognition, though, they will normally do it for me in a nasty manner with their own voice coming out of the ear. So seen it plenty of times, I give it to them and move on. We're going to discuss Eliza instead. Much better history. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers from the colonial days when young ladies got married at like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age. So just kind of put that in.
And when did it happen?
All right. It's hard to discern, but
That one's hard. I told her that's the hardest one.
goodbye, Eliza. Goodbye.
Let's get you back on mute. What did you hear?
Whoa.
We heard his name. We heard Mike.
We're in Remy's house, in case you guys were wondering. It doesn't bother us.
Really? Is his name?
That's what I
Oh. Oh, okay.
So you heard Mike. How far back did you hear his name?
Coming out of the market right there.
You okay? What's wrong?
In what way? So, you can have a seat if you need to.
No, I'm okay now. I was just like, I was looking out at the camera and all of a sudden
Like when you stand up to that?
yeah, like that.
Sometimes I feel weird when we walk down here, and then that's just like it. Yeah. So I come down here. This is a statement. Okay, so you guys all know this isn't like a random spot. I'm here every night. I'm walking down, and I felt like somebody was pushing on me, and I had like that vertigo feeling. And then on our way out, like one of my guests asked me, like, "Are you okay?" And like I just felt like somebody pushed me. I try not to put my feels into this. You guys can see the point. I can't prove anything. On the way out, somebody, and this person didn't know about it. She was like, "Somebody's like pushing me," like as we were leaving. And she's like, "I just felt like a weird vertigo feeling." I'm like, and the other lady looked at me, and she's like, "Same thing you had walking in," and it was about the same location. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. Definitely watch your numbers.
Yeah.
Anybody else going anything on?
Not yet.
Okay, good. All right, so again, we're here to switch it up. Let's talk about it. You're inside Philadelphia Alley, and I'm going to bring up why it's called Philadelphia Alley, only because Erica's got the reason why. They named it Philadelphia because that's where the name of the one.
No, yeah, I was wondering what you were gonna say.
I'm
hearing a lot about parties.
No party. Definitely not party. Criminals, yes.
That
So-
might be the party.
But Philadelphia, we named it after a city that helped us at one of our many, many fires. So that's why this is called Philadelphia Alley. We had to change the name because this used to be called Dueller's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston, and dueling was illegal and stupid, and they just changed the name to Philadelphia Alley. You do have the word fire plenty of times. I'll look up the exact year when they did that. Could have been 98. I'm not sure. I'll dive in. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, it was 1798. I don't really know. So anyway, cameras, in the event that another tour comes through here, I don't think they will. I think bring it with them out. Every goes.
Hate it when weren't allowed to take photos over here. Or
No, you can. It's just when people are coming in and out, even just regular tourists, again, just trying to take pictures of them. So, we're going to talk about duels. Here's how the story goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that one of the people of the Spirit Box hears the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it is not coincidence. It is part of his name. We get it all the time. Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. She just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She is an attorney, helping her out with all of the cash that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor fella. So, Dr. Ladd moves down here from Rhode Island to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's cash. He's going to make his own. On his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. Yeah, I have to usually explain it when we have teenagers involved. So, exactly, they don't know what a coachman is. But anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to the newcomer. The person walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. Do those initials sound familiar to anything else I've said since we've been here? Exactly, good job. So, we've gotten the letters RI all the time on regular Spirit boxes, so I bought another device and I'm using it tonight because it broke it for you. So, not on purpose, but by accident. I was trying to fix it tonight, so I accidentally put too many buttons. But anyway, what that device does is it actually works as a digital Ouija board. So anytime there's an EMF spike, like Julie's device, it gives us a letter. We've gotten RI, whenever I brought up Ralph's name, probably I would say 6, 7, maybe 8 times in the past year and a half since I've had it, but only on Ralph's name, not the Rhode Island. Now I know who it belongs to. Moving on. Ralph tells the newcomer, hey dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Why don't you come with me, and we are going to go to 59 Church Street where I have some friends that will rent you a room, and you'll be safe and good to go. Well, Doc took him up on that offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. Proving his point, he's not after Amanda's money, he's making his own. She got wind of this up in Rhode Island, and she's moving down, so they could be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate whistling. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. I have some proof of him as far as the whistling goes, but every ghost story tells you to listen to the whistles. So why are we in Dueller's Alley talking about a happy doctor? Dr. Ladd and Ralph listen plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. As compared to Charleston, he gets better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're discussing the new actress they just saw that came in town, and Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph did not. They start arguing, and Ralph is then insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly between the two of them, and they go their separate ways. But the next day, Ralph goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. When Doc saw this ad and rebutted, let's go to Dueller's Alley. Somebody's going to die. Remember, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point out how dumb she was back in the 1700s. Anyway, moving on. The two gents came down here back to back. They took their 10 paces. They turned, and Doc pointed his gun in the air. Shot is one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up. That's often what happens at a duel. A lot of times it's off to the side, but you guys got the point. Ralph still has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap of the doc. The doc didn't die. He fell to the ground. Ralph's not willing to forgive, and he proved his point. He walks away, but Doc's friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Two things about the last thing that I just said. It is 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than now, aren't they? Yeah. So he's also a doctor, guys. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But he failed, because he died. So, again, every tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. We have 2 cameras and my voice recorder running right now. If we're going to get a disembodied whistle, more than likely it's going to show up on one of those 3 devices. That's a more than likely scenario. However, can't tell you how many times, I've already told you how I actually spot check your guys' media. A whistling, part of a song shows up when I'm going through the spirit box, and then the word doctor shows up immediately after. Happens all the time. I'm not looking for it, I just get it. So again, it just falls into my lap basically. Dozens upon dozens of times this has actually happened. Thanks for turning, Mike. I didn't even see those folks there. I'm usually pretty perceptive about that, so this is what happens when I take a few nights off. But if you walk all the way through here and turn on the voice recorders from your phone, because this is how quiet it is all the time. It could be a busy Saturday evening, and this is what it sounds like when it's out. It's always like this. It's gorgeous. It's one of the most stunning places we have here in Charleston. But if you turn on your voice recorders, just remember every local knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. I can't drive past this alley without throwing a whistle down here. It's just something we do. So let's talk about how I got kicked out. This is the fun part. So, yeah, some of you couldn't wait for this damn part. Now, the alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. I'm just also proving how much history I actually dive into for some of this in the research that I do. There used to be a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. We're going further back than Dueler's Alley. So this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. Cows, goats, and chickens were down here. So why am I telling you this? That means they started down by Queen Street and started building the alley slowly over the years, hundreds of years, to get to where we are now. Those bricks down on the other side are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there. And I used to take my groups all the way through to go show them how far we've come from history. It was a history lesson, nothing paranormal about it. That kid's not staring at that brick. You already know how I feel about cemeteries. He's not staring at, why he was there. So, November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group down there. And they all stopped and waited for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen. And I'm also trying to be respectful because we are standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't realize that we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So the new owner of that mansion came out screaming his head off. My daughter was on the tour that night. She was about 14, and she thought it was absolutely hysterical that her father was getting yelled at. She was all about it. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because I used to work in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I'll never work another holiday ever. I even took Halloween off this year. Good for me, right? So, well, the expectation's too high. We'll talk about that later. This gets really, really high. But anyway, the next day was the 28th of November. I called my partner that brought me into this, and he basically laughed at me when I called him up because he already got the complaint and said, dude, you're not allowed to go down all the way. You're only allowed to go down halfway. It's considered residential past that. Reroute your group, and he hung up the damn phone. So now I got to figure this out. So that night, I'm sold out again. Tickets were way cheaper back then, by the way. It's Black Friday. I got a full group of 10. Battery dead? Good. I got an extra. I got 3 extra, to be honest. So we'll talk.
I think you did.
Oh yeah, and the light too. We're gonna swap both of them. But I told my group I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next, but I've been kicked out of there too. We'll talk about that later. So I didn't tell. If I could tell you that we're gonna go discuss pirates next, what's the first pirate that pops in your brain?
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard, right? Yeah. No. This is what happened. I would normally, because I didn't tell them which pirate we're going to discuss, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them it was going to be Anne Bonny. So most people would think Blackbeard automatically and come up with Blackbeard, or they heard beard or something in their spirit boxes, right? For all that subliminal messaging part of it. We get around the corner, and I'm like, all right, maybe we'll get something. So I told them what I knew about pirates in Charleston, which wasn't much, because I had a few hours to research. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300, and I didn't know what it meant. Wrote it down, do the research, and we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So this is the reaction I normally get. I was quite pissed. Let me explain. First off, I already told you I have a bunch of degrees in writing. I do have a master's degree in creative writing and several bachelor degrees in other forms of writing. Whenever I'm researching anything, I need facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. Anybody want to guess when pirate lore was written? It was 100 years after the golden age of piracy. It's not very accurate. You know how many books I had to read anytime somebody thought they had something? I had to read more textbooks on pirates, documentaries, video games, you name it. If it dealt with pirates, I covered it. I could probably just do a pirate tour right now if I really wanted to. I just don't want to. Again, I've pretty much covered it all. But now, we've been kicked out of that space because, again, they're rezoning Charleston a little bit for tours, and they don't want us in certain areas, which is fine. So what I did was I started retelling the story that I don't like to tell that every other ghost tour in town tells, but then I was like, oh, there's a story to replace that. So we're going to go do that story instead. So we're doing a replacement over a replacement. So we're going to be doing an experiment. We're going to change out his light and battery when we get over, up and around the corner. And we're going to get things from Dr. Ladd as well. So the next one is kind of a weird tale, and I'm still trying to prove the story itself. And again, it's new for me. It's kind of the new one for this year. So we'll kind of see what happens. Anything weird going on with your devices before we leave the space? Any numbers that I need to know about? Nothing above an 8?
Just, I mean, my word list is still populating, but
Yeah, the last 4 or 5.
Salvation, Greatly, Tesla, Interpret.
Can I take a picture of the window?
Interpret
Sorry.
actually came up when you, I don't even remember what you were talking about, but it fit the situation that you were talking about. Shock, Producer, Blue,
We got blue over here.
Coin, Moreover, Family, What, Constant.
Moreover came out of her spirit box.
Yeah, Constant, Tropical,
Yeah, that's a lot of nothing.
Noble. Yeah, just
Erica, anything coming out of yours
kind
at
of
all?
babbling right now.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing. And Emily's been on mute. Anything coming out of the cameras that I need to know about?
Nope.
Also. Okay. Well, Dr. Ladd knows he can follow. I don't need to talk. Oh, by the way, he does have a code word to let me know if he's following us around, even though we are going to a new space. It'll be very interesting if that code word will show up. I'm not going to tell you what any of it is. Some of you will know what it is by the end of the night. The other half of you will not. I'll explain once we get to the last one. All right. So yeah, you can walk through the end of this with the camera and probably cut it at that point.
Okay.
If you want to, but Emily, let's get you unmuted as we get up and around the corner. I'll give you that quick history of what I do know about this new story, and then we're going to go take a look at this cemetery and see what we can get. So, let's do it. All right, Doc. I don't smell it very strong tonight. For those of you northerners, any of you know what this tree is? Anybody want to put your nose on that guy?
This here?
Yep. Nope. That's,
I don't know.
It's a tree. I know that.
it's a very familiar smell, is it not?
What is it?
I can bring that again. I don't want to bring the
The
branch.
leaves remind me of the one in Jamaica.
No, sorry.
It's really about the plant.
Did you
It's
pour
right
that
here.
to
It's
the
the
I think
ground.
I don't want to
Do you
pluck
know?
the leaf. If I pluck the leaf and rub it, I might know what it is. Because it reminds me of, I forget what they had us, what the guide in Jamaica
I
had
don't
us.
remember.
This is an anise tree. That's what they use to make black licorice with.
Yeah.
Ah,
Northerners, for those of you like way up north, I'm from Ohio, and we actually used to make Christmas cookies with anise and vanilla, and it was called Pixel. It's made on a waffle iron. So that's every time I come down. This only blossoms in the fall. Fighting?
yeah.
All right, so as I'm trying to swap this out. By the way, I would normally tell you a pirate story right behind you, but that's the space we're not allowed in. The reason I would tell you the pirate story here is because of that building. That is the Gunpowder magazine. It was being built at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. That's why we would come here. It's what I call a familiar. So again, it's kind of like using the Boo Buddy on your TV shows. You guys know what I'm talking about? They use. We have getting footage of this
Responsibly look out.
names down the front. A little bit of AC/DC in there. That has some thunder to it.
God knows, and Timmy. It was a little kid's voice.
Sal's friends. That was very clear. Wait a minute.
Kamala Harris. What you guys got going on? Anything?
Kamala Harris.
Clear as day.
But you don't know that the name Harris doesn't mean anything. You do get Timmy, so maybe there's a Timmy Harris. See, I'll take the bits and pieces of it. These are slowed down. So I'm going to write down Harris just so I'm reminded to look into the cemetery records. 'Cause again, might get a little bit of a bleed over. Definitely sure Kamala is not buried here.
Move down. You want to move down?
Stomach pain.
49.79. 100. 1,800. What? Yeah, I know, right? What? I know, right? 105.4.
Here's how this is gonna go. Mike, you can have a seat too. So I'm gonna hand you guys things that are gonna cover up your eyes. I'm gonna ask that you do not put anything on until we come back. I'm gonna take these three just a little bit down this way and tell them a quick history, and then we're gonna come back and I'll show you how this is gonna unfold.
All right.
The reason I say, okay, let's get you turned up a little bit.
What was that?
I'm gonna turn you up like a hair.
Okay.
You say when.
Where's the...
Can you hear me? Can you
Why
hear me?
don't you
Can you
just
hear me
say-
now?
Yeah.
It's all the way up. Can you still hear me?
A little bit.
Wow. We're gonna go with that.
I can't hear anything if you're talking.
Okay, good. She did say you're right, and usually one of the first questions I ask is, Henry, what do you do for a living? So it's almost like he already knows I'm here. Henry, thanks for following us over here. Can you tell us where we're at, what building we are in?
Wait.
You could show us, Henry. We can all see what the building looks like, but if you want to show us in the blue box, that's Mike. You can see whatever you want us to see. Henry, if you're here, we're not at the park tonight. You gotta come find us. Tell us where we're at. What building are we in? Keep an eye on the date list. Potentially can come there too.
How far?
Yeah, we went a little far. Probably about.
Don't know where this is going.
Henry, all of your work is being held here. That's why we came here. Can you tell us what's being held here? Wow, Erica's really struggling. I thought for sure she'd be. Henry, I've asked you a lot of questions about this new place where we're going to be doing this little experiment to try to talk to you. The zoning has changed for us. We can't go to the park anymore. Can you tell us where we are now? Show us an image, that'd be great. I'm sure Mike doesn't want to fall asleep. You do see the smoke, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Henry? Kind of push through, Henry. Come find us. Where all of your work is being held. I'm asking you to verify what work is being held here. Wow, it's this is a first. 3 people on the bench.
Memory. Year.
Henry, what year? Can you tell me what year?
Highway.
Henry, tell us what year would be a memory.
Hours. What's your budget?
Henry, I asked what building we were at and what work is being held here. Oh, by the way, Dr. Ladd's code word, for those of you,
Drink something orange.
his code word is purple, not orange.
Recorded.
He would normally follow us to the park where we would normally do this because his house he lived in was right around the
Confession.
corner.
Writer.
I'll take that. Thank you, Henry. What's being held inside? What can we only see on Halloween, Henry?
Hey, girl.
Henry? Can you tell us or show us? We would fully understand a picture at this point.
Is Impulse running? Jablansky, I think.
Henry,
Fruit.
what's inside? It's the second time she's heard fruit tonight. She has the word apple. Henry, be more specific. I know apples
Miles.
can be red, but not always.
905.
Okay, fine.
No, that's stop.
Oh,
Back
Oh,
on. Put it back on.
sorry.
You're okay.
sorry.
You hit my leg.
I did.
She followed direction. You did not. What was going on?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Henry.
November.
Cancer.
I had that on my list.
Cancer. How long ago?
Oh, earlier.
Oh, way earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah. I thought it
Man
was-
eater.
Henry.
Behind bars.
Behind bars. Lawsuit.
Sounds like they're syncing up.
Creeps
His
up.
Collection.
Peppa Pig intro.
What did she just say?
Peppa Pig intro.
Oh. Okay. Henry, can you give us an image over here? That would be great.
50 million.
I also asked you for a year
Electron.
that would be a memory.
30.
Henry, we'd really like to have an image of where we are or what's being held inside. Mike is really curious because he doesn't know. You need to tell him.
I'm pretty sweet.
I can't believe the light just went. Henry?
Someone's freaked out.
No. We've been at this for about 6 minutes so far, and you haven't given us much besides what you did for a living.
My friends.
What about your friends?
Into today's topic. 17.
Henry? I'm asking what work is being held in this.
I don't need your love.
Well, you're gonna get it, Henry. 'Cause we've been at this for about a year and a half. Actually, 2 years at this point. And I'm gonna continue to try to talk to you. Your story is very interesting, but I want you to tell us what work is.
Sarah
60
Wilkins?
months.
She's 60 months.
16 maybe?
16.
That'd be 5 years. Willie was only 9 months, so that doesn't add up. But it was in the 1860s. Willie died in 1865. It's close, but no cigar in my
Building
book.
in 1774.
Great. I gotta look up
How many
here.
times you screwed me over?
I have never screwed you over.
But many kids suffer.
Any kids suffer. Which kids? Can you give us their names or whose kids they were?
Basic Carpenter Hall. 1701.
'1701, 1774. I gotta look into those to see if they actually match this building. I should have break it. The building was built in 1701. I know it's
They're
not.
playing lots of music from like the 70s and 80s.
I don't care about that. I know what the names are.
4.
Henry, let's get an image from you. Since you're not really wanting to play well over here.
Black smoke.
Yeah. Put something over the
821. Somebody I used to know.
Who? Who did you used to know? colleague you want
49.
or a colleague you want to tell us about? But Mike is only seeing black smoke right now. Can you change that image for him?
Look for.
We're
Too
trying.
much.
Being a jerk,
Till the morning.
Henry.
My girl. 2 Carpenter's Hall.
Henry. We'll wrap it up
New
early if you give us
carpentry
an
work.
image. Just want one image so these folks can see how this technology works. Tell us something about your work through imagery.
In the city.
We're more in the city than we would be in the park. We're running out of time, Henry. We got about a minute.
New space.
It is a new space. Any other words show up for us, Julie?
Basketball. It's been stuck on basketball.
Henry going once. Can you tell us goodnight? Or give us an image? Henry going twice. Give us an image. Alright, let's go ahead and tap these ladies out. Mike, peel that thing off your face. Let's
Alright.
verify you
There's a
didn't
bunch
get
of
anything.
bells.
We're good. Let's verify you didn't get anything. Sometimes it might glitch and then save an image that